Hi everyone and welcome back. It's Boone. Today I wanted to talk about names and my experiences with my name and with my identity and how my name related to that and the idea of changing my name and how I ended up not changing my name. Because as I mentioned in my last video, Boone is my birth name. It's the name that my parents gave me when I was born. And so it's a weird name. I want to say that right off the bat. It's unusual. It's very uncommon. Most of the time when I've introduced myself to someone, I've had to repeat myself at least once or spell it or explain it in some way, which is kind of annoying, but also kind of fun. Like, I do enjoy the uniqueness of it. But obviously, I don't know if this is obvious to people actually, but it is considered to be a male name. Like, if you look it up, in a baby book or online, it will say Boone, boy's name. Which is interesting because it's not a common name, and I don't think that most people strongly associate it with the gender, at least the people I've talked to, and I certainly didn't. When I first came out at the age of 13, I didn't really think about changing my name. Like, that was not in the forefront of my mind at all. Once I kind of realized, hey, I can be trans, let's come out, let's think about all these things. That was definitely quite far down on my mental priority list. Like, mainly I was focusing on the things I could do to make myself look different and look the way I wanted to. And I wasn't focusing at all on that. It just seemed like such a small thing. Until probably like the age of 15, I would say. I started going to like LGBT youth groups and things like that. And that was an opportunity for me to try out a new name. And even though at this time I was kind of thinking I might stick with Boone, the obvious choice to me, if I did change my name, was B, and that's B-E-E. If you look on my old YouTube channel, B Wesley, that was like my alias in a lot of different places. It was my username on a lot of different things and still is. I used to play competitive Super Smash Bros., as I also mentioned in my last video, and I entered tournaments with that. And the Wesley part was not as emphasized. Like, everyone called me B. That was my nickname. A lot of people didn't even know my real name. But I enjoyed the name B a lot. Like, it just felt natural to me. Everyone called me that. It's the first letter of my name. It just made a lot of sense. And so when I first went into like LGBT spaces and trans spaces, I used that name. And it was okay. Like, it felt sort of kind of odd to have everyone suddenly calling me something that was different. Like, I know I had been called that for years in the Smash Bros. Community, but that just, I don't know, I kind of had a persona in that was very competitive and separate from how I act outside of tournaments. So to hear myself being referred to in that way in this space that felt more just connected to my regular being was odd. I didn't hate it. Like, I definitely liked the name, and I still do. But it was sort of, it didn't feel totally right. So I eventually just decided I wasn't going to go with that name. A couple people in my family started calling me that too, and it just felt kind of off. And I can't really explain why. And, honestly, part of me feels like that's a bummer, because even now, I really like that name. I feel like it's very feminine. It's very cute. I love bees. I have these bee earrings I just bought. Like, yellow and black are like my favorite color combination. It's this whole thing. But like, I don't know, it just didn't feel quite right, and obviously I don't want to stick with a name that just feels sort of off. So I moved on, and I didn't really think about changing my name again until, gosh, I want to say, yeah, it would have been like June of last year, so I was 16, and I was thinking, I don't remember how I came up with it. Like, I think I just sort of thought of it randomly, and it was the name Violet. Which I really liked and still do like. I think that's an awesome name. It's very, very cool sounding. And my girlfriend at the time really liked it, and my friends liked it, and they're like, yeah, that's a cool name. And so I just kind of, like, after a couple weeks of thinking about it, which I guess makes it not really impulsive, but to me it felt like an impulsive decision. I was just like, yeah, that's my name. And I changed it on Facebook, and I told my family, I'm like, hey, can you call me Violet now? And that didn't feel as weird as B, actually. I don't know how long I went with it, but for a while my friends called me Violet or Vi, because I really like the shortened version Vi, and I'm more used to having a one syllable name, so that kind of just worked for me. And yeah, I loved it. And then I even like was like, I can keep Boone as a middle name. People call me like VB and all these different things, and I was enjoying it, and it felt nice, and it felt like it fit me. But then one night I kind of started thinking like, I don't dislike the name Boone, and I feel like I just kind of chose this name very randomly. Like I wasn't having dysphoria from the name Boone. It was sort of weird. And I'm kind of like, I don't know why, maybe this is related to like my OCD, because I do have OCD, but I like care about like the natural order of things, which sounds really weird as a trans person to say that. But like, for example, what I'll do, in certain situations, if there's like a box of, I don't know, let's say candy bars, and there's different kinds, and it's just like an assortment, I will, pull out a random one, and then whatever it is, I'll have that one. Like, I won't choose the kind I want. I'm not really sure why, but I'm worried that if I like modify what normally would be, it's going to affect me negatively later. I don't know. This isn't really a rational or logical thing, but I've always had that weird little fixation. And so then I started thinking about that with my name. Like, hey, why did I choose this name? Do I deserve this name? Like, it's super cool. It's a really cool name, but I just gave it to myself. Like, doesn't that kind of dilute the specialness of it? Because I just like arbitrarily chose it for myself. No one gave it to me. And like it kind of matched this aesthetic in my head of the way I wanted to look. Like, I really like the color violet, and I don't know, it was kind of a cool, edgy name, very trendy too. And so I got in my own head about that, really, and I was like, I don't know if this is right. This just kind of feels not okay, and it was really strange. I can't really explain it, but I still liked it the whole time. Like, I still like the name Vi and Violet. But after a while, I was like, let's just try Boone again. Or people can call me Violet if they want, but I'm going to think for a while, what are other names I want? Like, I don't know. I started brainstorming with my mom, because I'm like, oh, maybe if I get someone else involved, they can help me, like, see things from different perspectives. And, my mom, being the person who gave me the name Boone, I was like, hey, what were you going to name me as a kid? Or what can we look at here? What do you like? Because maybe if I found something we both liked, then it would like make me feel more comfortable with changing my name. Because I guess at this point I did kind of have a desire to have something different, just to feel like I was celebrating my gender in a new way, and like expressing myself as a woman. Even though I didn't get dysphoric from the name Boone, it was like it did have the previous connotations to being seen as a male. So I was like, hey, maybe I can figure something out with her. And so for like weeks, we just looked at different names, and we talked about different names, and we kind of loved it, because I think both of us are a little bit obsessed with naming things. And my mom, when I asked her like what she was going to name me as a kid, she had two ideas, and one was Esta and one was Hope, like if I were AFAB. And I didn't really like either, to be honest with you. So I was like, okay, yeah, that would take the guilt away from like feeling like I didn't deserve the name Violet. I feel like I could deserve those names because that's what she would have named me. And it would have also like kind of made me, like my mom actually pointed this out, was that if I had one of those names, it would have made me feel like more cis. Like after I was telling her how I kind of had that desire to just go with what naturally would have been. And I realized like, yeah, wow, that's true. Like I had this desire to just feel like I wasn't trans, just to feel like everything went as it was supposed to be, and I was just had the name she would have given to me, and it would have taken all this pressure off. But I didn't like either of those names, and I also didn't really like how that was the way I thought of it, because I wasn't cis. I'm trans, and I need to celebrate that and not try and pretend like things are different from how they are. So we brainstormed names for a while, and I tried out a few, and sometimes I felt like I had an epiphany, and like, oh, this name was perfect, and there was all these different ones that I liked. But I don't know, it kind of drove me to the point of freaking out. At the end of July, I remember at this point I was going by the name Beatrix, and I shortened it to B, and I thought that was a cool idea, and I liked it a lot because it was very related to B, and it kind of was sort of similar to my name, and people in my family liked it, and I liked it, and my friends liked it, and it was like, okay, I can do that. But I started thinking again, like, why do I have this name? What if I went with Hope or Esta, or sorry, my laptop screen just turned off, or a name that my mom gave me or my dad gave me. Like it just felt sort of wrong again. I couldn't quite step into it the way I wanted to. And so I was just like, this is the last day of July, I remember it too. I had a weird day, and I was just kind of freaking out about the whole thing, and it was like stressing me out so much. And I'm like, this shouldn't matter as much as it does. Like, names are names. But I knew it was important to me. And after all of it, I just kind of like took a deep breath, and I was like, I don't think I need to change my name. Like, I think that Boone is a name that I like, and I've never not liked it, and it was a name that was given to me, and I don't even know why I put myself through all of this. Like, I kind of realized, I think I sort of forced myself to want to change my name, because once I get set on an idea of something that could happen, like, I just have a hard time getting away from it. And so as soon as I kind of set out to find the perfect name, I felt like that was just what I had to do, and I just had to find a name that wasn't my birth name. And I guess that night, after just kind of having this, it wasn't a panic attack, but it was definitely a moment of really just a lot of stress, and I felt very strange and unhappy. I was just like, I don't need to be doing this to myself. Like, I've thought of tons of names that I like, and my mom and dad have given me names that they like, and I've cooperated with them and stuff, and it just nothing really worked. So I was like, all right, I'll just be Boone. I like it. It's unique. Yeah, sure, it's a guy's name, but what does that even mean? Like, plenty of names have started out as guys' names and have been adopted by girls. So who cares? And really, ever since that point, I haven't had any issues. This was back in the summer. Every now and then I'm still like, ooh, there's some cool names. Wouldn't it be interesting if I had a more feminine sounding name? But honestly, like, I kind of like it. Boone is sort of masculine sounding, and I kind of like that. Like, I feel like it's sort of edgy. It's very different. And I don't know. It goes well with me. I think that uniqueness is fun, and I can be proud of the uniqueness because I didn't come up with it. Like, if I chose some really out there cool name, then it'd be like, okay, cool, I have a super out there cool name, but I chose it. Like, anyone could choose it, but I just kind of happened to be named Boone, and there were so many attachments to it. Like, I feel like there was more positive memories I had with it than negative ones, so I was like, nah, it's not really a big dysphoric thing for me, and I've been happy with it. I don't really think I'm ever going to change my name. Maybe I will. I can't really know right now, but overall it's been very good, and I haven't really questioned it. So I don't know if this video is really going to help anyone else if you're thinking of changing your name, but I just wanted to share my experiences because it was definitely a wild ride. There's probably lots of different things I could have gone over that I didn't, but please, in the comments below, I'd love to hear if you're trans, if you did change your name, if you didn't, or like, I don't know, any kind of experiences that you'd be willing to share. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Thank you for listening to me ramble, and I will see you next time. Bye.